Hello and welcome to Wild Heart Yoga Holistic Healing for today's 25-minute class. I am Hannah Ray. I'm so glad that you decided to check out today's video. Today we are going to be going deep into the hips. This is going to be a yin focused class, so we'll be holding our poses for about 2 to 3 minutes each, but I am going to include a little bit of flowing in between or at the beginning of some of these holds just to help get us warmed up and the hips lubricated and ready to go for some of these long intense holds that we will have. So if you are ready, grab your mat, let's get to it. Hello and welcome to today's class. We are going to begin in butterfly today, so go ahead and make your way to the middle of your mat, bringing the soles of your feet together, grabbing onto the ankles, and here thinking about keeping that spine tall and long. And when you're ready, begin just taking a few circles of the upper body here, just beginning to loosen up the hips, the side body, and back a little bit. Just noticing how you're feeling before we get started. Good, and let's take it the other direction now a few times. One more time in this direction. Good. Now if you're ready, let's go ahead and lower that chest over the legs here. And if this isn't within your practice today, then just stay sitting up, working on getting those knees closer toward the mat, maybe using your elbows to press them down. If you are able to fold forward, then maybe you want to keep holding onto your feet as you do this, using a little leverage to pull yourself closer, or maybe you want to extend your arms out ahead of you if you can get your belly down even further, thinking about getting that forehead close to the mat. While you're here, as we get the hips warmed up for some of our more intense and longer yin holds today, just think about what intention you'd like to set for yourself for this practice, what your focus is, where you want your mind to be, maybe goals you have for your body, for your healing. Just about 20 more seconds here. Take one more deep inhale through the nose and exhale as you rise your chest back up. Let's just take a few flutters of the knees here, continuing to loosen up those hips a little bit, maybe rocking side to side. Then inhale as you sweep the arms up, reaching tall. And exhale, hands come to prayer at heart center. Let's take one more breath. Inhale as you reach up, palms together at the heart. Very good. Now go ahead and make your way over to tabletop. Then sink yourself back to child's pose. We're going to take some circles here, so bringing your hips around to the left as if you're going into up dog, then around to the right and back to the back of your mat as if you're sinking back to child's pose here. So this is kind of like a up dog or cobra and child's pose hybrid. One of my favorite warm-ups to loosen up the side body and the hips before I go into some long yin holds. All right, let's take it the other direction now. Connecting your breath with this movement here, moving at your own pace. Good, sinking back to child's pose now. Roll forward, one vertebrae at a time to tabletop. Lead with the hips as you press your way back to down dog. Just walking out your dog a few times. Then inhale, right leg up for three-legged dog. Begin to stack the hips, bending at the knee, flexing your foot, and take a few hip circles in the forward direction. Trying to keep those shoulders squared towards the front of the mat, so just the hip is opening up to the side here. All right, reverse the direction now. Good, now inhale, reaching back up for three-legged dog. Then as you exhale, step through to the front of your mat, coming into your high lunge. Reaching the arms up and back slightly, feeling this opening through the psoas and the hip flexor. And as you exhale, plant your hands back to the mat, drop the back knee to the mat. And here, the first thing I want you to think about is tucking those hips, pulling your belly button into the spine so your back is staying flat, and then allowing those hips to drop forward. With every exhale, trying to sink a little bit deeper into this. Maybe rocking side to side a little bit. Then go ahead and heel toe that right foot toward the outer edge of the mat, rolling it toward the outer side of the foot. If you want to take this even deeper, you can lift that back knee up, keeping that back leg straight. This is our lizard pose. To begin, just take a few micro movements, maybe moving forward and backward slightly or side to side, figuring out where the tension is for you. Maybe with every inhale, pulling the body and the leg away from each other. With every inhale, bringing that right shoulder closer towards that right knee again. As you do this, just noticing the areas that light up for you, the areas that your body is uniquely requiring attention. Now you're welcome to keep that back leg straight and the knee lifted, but if you'd like to make this a little bit easier, since we'll be here for a couple more minutes, go ahead and lower that knee and make your way down to your elbows if that's within your practice today. You can also use some blocks to place your hands on, or other props if this is a little difficult for you. As you're here, keep checking in with that breath, being mindful of how you're breathing, trying to inhale deeply through the nose and exhaling like that sigh from the back of the throat. This will help take our stretches and our releases even deeper. A lot of times when we feel this discomfort, our initial instinct is to want to stop breathing as much and to tense up. And so focusing on that breath helps us to mindfully relax our muscles so that we are able to get a deeper release, go deeper into these poses. If you want to take this a little bit further even, you can extend the arms out, placing the fingertips on the ground ahead of you, taking an extended lizard variation. Just taking about 2 more slow, deep breaths here. Great job. Now slowly lift your chest back up. Extend that front leg, coming into a halfway split just for a moment. And then go ahead and bring that back leg through to the front of the mat. We're going to take our fire log pose now. So with the left leg on the bottom, stack that right leg on top, thinking about keeping both shins parallel to the front of the mat here. And if you're able, let's begin just taking a few waves of the chest over the legs here. Exhaling as you lower down, inhaling as you wave the chest up. If this is really difficult for you today, then just stay sitting up and focus on getting that knee pressed down to your foot. Taking just one more wave of the chest over the legs here. Inhaling as you rise back up. And on your next exhale, go ahead and settle down over your legs, coming to your elbows, or maybe reaching your arms out ahead of you, thinking about trying to get that forehead down to the mat. Here you kind of want to think about pulling that chest out and then down so that we're getting most of our bending as much from the hips as we can, instead of from that lumbar spine. With every exhale, see if you can reach that chest a little bit further down towards the mat and the crown of your head a little bit further towards the end of the mat. If your arms are extended ahead of you, maybe thinking about walking those fingertips another inch forward with every exhale. Just one more minute here, you're doing awesome. Keep breathing through it, staying mindful of how the quality of your breath affects the release that you're getting, the sensation in your body. Almost there. Take one more slow and deep breath. Good. And as you exhale, go ahead and sit your way back up, unwinding the legs. And we're going to make our way to our wide leg seated forward fold. So legs extended out to the sides, toes pointing up to the sky here. And when you're ready, if you're able to today, walk the hands out, landing on your elbows, or maybe if it's within your practice, getting your belly all the way down to the mat, arms extended ahead of you. And just find stillness wherever you're at today. Relaxing into this pose, allowing gravity to take you a bit deeper with every exhale as the body lets go of resistance. You're doing awesome. Just one more minute here. Stick with it. We're about halfway through this class. You're doing an incredible thing for yourself today, and you should be so proud of that. Great job. Go ahead and lift yourself back up now and find your way to tabletop. Tuck the toes, lift the knees as you lead with the hips and press back to down dog again. This time we're going to inhale, reaching the left leg up for our three-legged dog. Then begin to stack those hips again, bending the knee, flexing the foot. And start taking some hip circles in the forward direction. Just making this feel good for your body. Go ahead and reverse the direction now, taking a few more circles. Reach that leg back up for three-legged dog. As you exhale, step through to the front of the mat, coming into your high lunge on the other side now. Reach those arms up toward the sky. Then exhale, planting the hands to the mat. Lowering that back knee again. And once again, we're going to think about tucking those hips, pulling that belly button to the spine as we sink the hips forward. Just loosening up the hips a little bit before we take our lizard. Good. Now go ahead and plant the hands, heel toe that left foot toward the outer edge of your mat. Once again, we are rolling that foot onto the outer side there, taking this deeper into the hips. So we're thinking about pressing that knee away from us. Go ahead and lift that back knee so we can sink just a little bit further into this. Once again, as you inhale, think about pulling that left shoulder away from the left knee. And as you exhale, bring the knee and the shoulder close together again. Just experimenting with this, finding the areas that uniquely are requiring attention for you. All right, if you aren't already there, go ahead and lower that back knee to the mat. And if you're able, lower yourself down to your elbows. Just finding some rest and stillness in this lizard pose. Remembering to check in with that breath, being mindful. Yin Yoga is really great, really for anyone, but especially for those who struggle with anxiety or things like racing thoughts. Because what's happening when we do these long poses, when we feel this discomfort, is our bodies sort of go into this fight or flight state because our minds are telling us this is uncomfortable, stop doing this, get out of this pose. And so when we learn to breathe into that, we are turning off our minds instead to tune into our breath. So not only does that help us get a deeper state of relaxation and release from our bodies, but it's also teaching us to increase our threshold for distress tolerance. So these are really great life skills that we are learning while practicing yoga too. It goes so much more beyond just the body. Just 30 more seconds here. Stick with it, we're almost there. Good, now as you exhale, go ahead and bring yourself back up. Once again, extending that front leg, just coming into a halfway split for just a moment. And then bring that back leg toward the front of the mat as we find our fire log. This time we are stacking the left leg on top of the right, thinking about pressing that left knee down towards the foot here. And if you're able, let's start taking some waves of the chest over the legs. Go ahead and find stillness now, settling down over those legs if it's within your practice. As you inhale through the nose, imagine drawing that oxygen in to those areas of tension in the hips. And with every exhale, visualize that as if you could see it melting away out of your body. You guys are doing awesome. Just about a minute longer. Stick with it. Keep breathing deeply here. You're almost done with today's class. Almost there. Give me 2 more deep breaths. As you exhale, lift that chest back up, unwinding the legs. We are going to prepare for our frog pose now. So starting on the knees, go ahead and spread the knees apart as wide as you can. Your legs are making like a 90-degree angle. Feet out to the side. And you can stay up on your hands, or if you're able, go ahead and bring yourself down to your elbows, or maybe even on some blocks, or all the way down to your belly if you're in a full middle split here. Now, if this pose feels really uncomfortable for you today, and you're really high up off the ground and it feels hard to hold yourself up, you can always use a pillow or a bolster or a rolled up blanket, anything else like that, under your chest to help you be able to just rest onto that and relax in this pose more. As always, this is your practice, so take any modifications that you may need. Just 1 more minute here, you're almost there. About 3 more slow and deep breaths. Awesome job. Go ahead and lift the chest up now. Then go ahead and scoot those knees back together, making your way to seated at the center of your mat. And slowly make your way to your back, hugging the knees into your chest, making just a few circles with the knees here, perhaps rocking side to side, just making this feel good for you. Then reach the feet up to the sky, giving the legs a hug in towards your chest. Then slowly, with control, lower the legs toward the mat. Arms resting at our sides, palms up towards the sky for our final resting pose, our Savasana. Now I know it can be really tempting to feel like we're pretty much done with the class, so I might as well just skip the Savasana at the end. But this is actually a really important part of our yoga practice, because this is when we can tune in with how we're feeling different than we did at the beginning of the practice, noticing the effects that this class has had on the body and on your mind. Also learning patience and stillness. We are a very busy society and culture of people, so this time that we can take for ourselves to still our mind instead of always being thinking, talking, or doing is actually really great for us. This is where we can find a lot of different insight and clarity about our lives, things that aren't working for us or things that are serving us well, and being mindful of change maybe that we want to make in our lives. So I'd encourage you to always make a habit of staying for your Savasana. Really embracing these last few minutes of our classes, knowing that taking this time is a way of honoring your mind and your body and spirit. If you're ready to end with me today, inhale as you take a big reach of the arms overhead, and then go ahead and squeeze the legs into your chest one more time, and make your way up to seated in the center of our mat for our final closing breaths together. Inhale as you sweep the arms up, reaching to the sky. Exhale, palms together at heart center. One more time, inhale as you reach up, and exhale, bowing down, thanking yourself for taking the time to honor your mind and body in this way today. Thank you so much for checking out today's class. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a huge favor and like this video. Also subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with all of my latest classes. Subscribing is also the #1 way that you can help support this channel so that I am able to continue making these videos for you all. Thanks again, so great to have you here, and I will see you soon. Namaste.